Hall of Famer Tony Dungy joining us from his home. And Tony, of course, you can see him on Football Night in America. And Coach, good to have you here with us. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Catherine, it's great to be with you, and I am excited. Here in my hometown of Tampa, of course, the schedule coming out, Tom Brady being here, everyone fired up about Sunday Night Football finally coming back to Tampa. So, yeah, we're pretty pumped.
Yeah, there'll be some chatter at the barbershop, that's for sure, about this Bucs schedule. But let me talk to you. When this schedule comes out as a head coach, what is the first thing that you look for when you see it?
You know, I never worried about who we played. You know that. What I wanted to see was when we play. And you've got always the short weeks that you worry about. Are we playing a Thursday night game? Who are we playing? Is it going to be a team that we know well? Is it going to be a team that we're going to have to do extra preparation for? How does that all shake out? When are we playing tough stretches? Do I have anything I have to alert the team to? Do we have consecutive games on the road, that type of thing? And being in Tampa and Indianapolis in the Dome, I was always concerned about the cold weather games. When are they taking place? Are we playing New England in December in Foxborough? Are we playing in Green Bay in December or early January? That was the first thing on my mind when that schedule came out.
Well, Coach, along those lines, we see opening kickoff on NBC, that September 10th game. You've got the Texans and the Chiefs, a big rivalry game, a revenge game as well. Would you prefer, if you were either one of these teams, to have this game later on, or do you like that it gets it out of the way early?
I always loved the big games early because you felt like you could, schedule your preparation. You're going to have your whole team ready. Chance of having a key player injured is much less playing early in the year than late in the year. So, yeah, I think especially from the Texans standpoint, I think they're looking forward to that, trying to go up there and make up for that 24-point loss that they blew in the playoff game.
Yeah, and along those lines with the Chiefs, you look at the strength of schedule off the top. You've got 4 of the first 6 games against playoff teams, and then the 4 NFC teams aren't until later on in the second half of the season. So a bit of, as you can see right here, a bit of a discrepancy there. What about those playoff teams right off the bat? What do you want to see the Chiefs do against those teams early on?
Well, I think Andy Reid is probably relishing this, and there's not going to be a Super Bowl hangover because he's going to say, look at what we have to face coming out of the box. We've got to be ready, and he's going to challenge his players. And they know getting off to a good start is going to be critical. So I think really this kind of favors Andy Reid. I would like this if I were a defending champion coach. Let my team know what we've got to deal with right off the bat.
Well, you talked about the Bucs, and opening the first week of the season is a premier matchup of 2 of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen play the game, with Tom Brady and Drew Brees. What do you most look forward to in the fact that this matchup is going to happen right out of the gates at the start of the season?
Well, I can't wait to see this and see how Tom Brady is going to connect. He's already down here. He's working out, feverishly already, trying to get with his new receivers. And New Orleans has a great team. And this is going to be a challenge, that defense on the road, the noise, all the things that they're going to have to deal with. There is so much hype down here about Tom right now. That's going to be a true test, and it's going to be great to see. I'm looking forward to it.
Meanwhile, Tom's former team, the New England Patriots, all eyes will be on Jarrett Stidham and what he's going to be able to do in the starting quarterback role. And you look at the Patriots' schedule. They've got 3 tough places to play right off the bat: in Buffalo, in Kansas City, and in Seattle. What would you advise a young quarterback who's trying to make his mark in the league and make his mark with his new team going into those tough, hostile environments?
Well, he's really fortunate because he's got a great coach and a great organization surrounding him. Bill Belichick will have him ready to go. He'll utilize his strengths very well. He'll minimize his weaknesses. This team, the Patriots, are high on Jarrett Stidham. We're going to see early on what he's all about and what he's made of. Going to those venues are not easy. And going into Seattle, going into Kansas City, there's going to be a lot of pressure on him. And you're replacing a legend. So we'll get to know by the middle of the season, by week 8, what is this quarterback all about? And I think he's going to be fine, but that's not an easy road for any quarterback.
Coach, there were some interesting quirks in the schedule that I thought were interesting. When you look at week 10, the Jets are in Miami to play the Dolphins. Both teams then have the bye week, and then both teams come back and play each other again in week 12 in New York. So interesting to see this kind of a divisional matchup with the bye week in between later on in the season. Did that catch your attention too?
Yeah, it really did. Almost playing back-to-back games in games that are going to be meaningful. Teams know each other. You got 2 weeks, almost like a Super Bowl, to prepare for that second game. It's really going to be interesting. You talk about making adjustments, and obviously that helps the team that loses the first game. They've got an ability to come back and make some changes. But I don't know that I've ever seen one like that where a team would play in a regular season, then have 2 weeks to get ready to play again. It's going to be fun to watch and see what those adjustments are.
Yeah, they'll be quite familiar with each other by that point in the season. Coach, when you looked at the schedule when it came out last night, who would you assess has the toughest road to the Super Bowl?
You know, everyone has a difficult time, but I was particularly struck by the Houston Texans. This is a playoff team. They've got a great quarterback. They've been upper echelon for a long time, but they're opening up the season. We know we've got them that opening Thursday night at Kansas City, but then they go home against Baltimore, to Pittsburgh, and home against Minnesota. Those are four tough games. I mean, realistically, you could be 0-4 looking at that out of the gate. Those are four games that are not going to be easy to win. And so I think Bill O'Brien has to say, boy, we really need a strong training camp. We need preseason. We need to get our new receivers. We're replacing Hopkins, and we've got to get this group going and get with Deshaun Watson. So it's going to be interesting how they come out of the gate. This is a team that could, if they're 4-0 after that stretch, we'll be saying this is the best team in football. But they could be 0-4 and looking to bounce back and saying, how are they going to do this and be a playoff team? So that's the team I'll have my eye on in September for sure.
And of course, we saw on their schedule, they've got the Ravens there in week 2. The Ravens with a pretty tough schedule as well. I know Ravens fans excited about this year's season, but Cleveland at Houston, at Washington, big rivalry game for that team right there. You got Pittsburgh, all very difficult right out of the gate for the Ravens as well. I mean, do you like that they're getting this out of the way in the beginning?
I do. Again, if I've got a good team, I want to play those tough games early in the season and get going. I'm a little disappointed. We've got them in week 10 on Sunday night. That'll be our first time to see the MVP, Lamar Jackson. I was hoping we'd see him earlier because I really want to see how his game grows and what these other teams have they been able to research. I thought that a lot of teams would go and visit colleges and talk about how to stop this RPO game, how to stop this zone read game. And I want to see what the league does to catch up with Lamar Jackson.
Coach, of course, there was so much excitement leading up to this schedule release. And of course, now that people can look forward to their team and who's playing who, when. And of course, we don't know if the season is going to start on time. But did you like the fact that the NFL was prepared to release this schedule and prepared to be ready to give fans a glimmer of hope as far as if we can start on time, this is what it's going to look like?
Definitely exciting. And I'll tell you what, Catherine, from what I can see, I think the league is planning on playing 16 games because they didn't backload it. They didn't put the division games at the end. So that tells me that, hey, they're planning on starting on time. And if not, maybe sliding things back, but still playing a full 16 games. So this was exciting for me. And I think it did give the fans a jolt that, hey, we are ready for some football.
Excellent. Yeah. We saw some interesting, Coach, some social media from all the teams when they announced the schedule. And I think the Jacksonville Jaguars probably take the cake as far as the most entertaining video we saw when the schedule was released. They had we're showing it right now, a cluster of cats basically breaking down the whole schedule. I mean, this is clever and entertaining and made a heck of a lot of sense as well.
No, a lot of these teams have been waiting and haven't had a lot of news and a lot of things to broadcast. So we're seeing the creative side of it. But no, it is exciting. And I'm loving how everybody in the NFL is embracing this challenge. How do we do this and how do we navigate, keep people excited, and come up with new ways to promote our game?
Well, Coach, we know you've been very active on social media, and of course, you and your wife and your family are very active in the community as well. And I know your son Jordan, he's an aspiring chef and wants to be in the restaurants, but that's not happening right now. So he took a job at Publix, and he's delivering groceries and food to those people in need. How is he doing, Coach?
He's doing great, and we're really proud of him. He wants to serve. He wanted to be helpful. Of course, we were concerned, but we prayed about it and just asked the Lord to protect him. And he's doing what he loves. So he's had a good first week and a half, and we're really proud of him.
That's wonderful news. Well, we know you're very busy homeschooling 7 children and, of course, breaking down this schedule for us. Coach, great to see you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us, and we look forward to seeing you in person very, very soon.
Thank you, Catherine. You be safe, and we are looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun year, I think.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.